She once sat at her kitchen table counting coins just to get by. Today, she earns more from home than she ever did in a corporate office. And this isn't some made-up story or a far-fetched dream. It's her real, everyday life. Let's rewind. She was 42 years old, a single mum raising 2 kids. A recent divorce had turned her world upside down, and then a layoff pulled the rug out from under her feet. Debt was a mountain on her counter, a stack of unopened envelopes. Bills just kept coming every single week, relentless. Her savings account was empty. The future felt like a locked door. Every morning was heavy. She'd wake up long before the sun, not with a sense of purpose, but with a knot of worry in her stomach. She spent her days scouring job boards, sending out resume after resume into the digital void. Most days she heard nothing back. On the good days, she received a polite rejection email. She kept telling herself to stay strong for her kids, but her hope was wearing dangerously thin. Now, you should know, she isn't special. She didn't grow up with a silver spoon. She's not some tech genius or a famous inventor. She had no powerful connections to call on. She was just tired. So incredibly tired of the constant stress, tired of putting on a brave face and pretending everything was okay, tired of working so hard, following all the rules, and having absolutely nothing to show for it at the end of the month. If you've ever felt stuck, this probably sounds familiar. That feeling of doing all the right things, but still falling behind. Watching time just slip through your fingers, feeling completely invisible. You see others moving forward, and you're left wondering, how are they doing it? Why am I still here? She felt that exact same way every single day. Then one night, late after the kids were finally asleep and the house was quiet, she opened her laptop. She didn't have a plan. She was just looking for an escape from the loop of worry playing in her head. She started watching videos, reading through comments, just listening to what other people were saying. She heard them talking about working online, about using certain tools to save time, about building something small, something manageable, right from their own homes. Honestly, she didn't believe it at first. It all sounded way too simple, too good to be true. She figured it was all exaggerated, another online fantasy. She was so close to closing the browser and just going to bed. But one idea stuck with her. It wasn't a promise of getting rich quick. It was a simple realization. Maybe she could use her time differently. She noticed something else too. These people weren't necessarily working harder, they were working smarter. They had systems in place. They used automation. They talked about it as an assistant, a tool to help with the grunt work. The next day, she did nothing. And the day after that, she did a little, just a little. She chose one simple, repetitive task she was already doing online, and she looked for a way to make it faster. She wasn't aiming for perfection. She just wanted to make it easier. She started with the most basic tools, nothing fancy or expensive. She asked questions in online forums. She followed simple step-by-step tutorials. She found that AI could help her write first drafts, organize her jumbled ideas, and save her hours of tedious work. It didn't replace her effort, it just reduced the friction that made starting so hard. She worked in small, manageable chunks of time, 30 minutes here and there at night, sometimes less. Some days she was just too exhausted and skipped it altogether. But she always came back, again and again. She kept showing up. And then, after about 3 weeks, something happened. A tiny result. It was just one message, one positive response to something she'd put out there. Then came another. Her very first payment was for $73. It wasn't a life-changing amount of money. It wasn't impressive, but it was real. And that moment, that $73, it mattered more than anything. Not because of the money itself, but because it was proof. It proved that this could actually work. For someone like her, so she just repeated the process. She didn't look for new tricks or chase after shiny objects. She didn't take any big, scary risks. She focused on improving one small thing at a time. She reused the things that she knew already worked. She let AI handle the boring, repetitive parts, which freed her up to focus on being consistent. Months went by, the income grew, but it grew slowly. A few $100s a month, then 1,000, and then a little more. She tracked everything in a simple spreadsheet. She kept simplifying her process, cutting out anything that was complicated or time-consuming. She completely stopped chasing shortcuts. Eventually, what started as a desperate experiment became a routine, a predictable, manageable, and almost calm routine. What once felt so uncertain and scary became stable. The life that felt impossible started to feel normal. Today, she earns over $20,000 a month, all from home. She completely controls her own schedule. She walks her kids to school every morning and picks them up every afternoon. She has time to cook dinner without rushing. She sleeps through the night. Not because her life is suddenly perfect, but because that constant, gut-wrenching fear is gone. She's calmer now, more present with her kids. She no longer checks her bank balance with a sense of panic. She plans for the future. She can breathe again. She doesn't talk about getting lucky. She talks about the power of small decisions. About starting before she felt confident. About using the right tools to avoid burning out. And most of all, she talks about patience. This story is quiet. There was no single viral moment, no overnight success. It's just the story of a normal person making steady, consistent choices and letting time and effort do their work. It's a reminder that you don't need to be special or have a secret advantage. You just need to start. If she could do it, starting from nothing, then so can you. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more. We'll see you in the next one.